What's up, guys? We are Past the Pop Culture. My name is Ricky with my co-host here, Mrphen.
Hello.
And today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got the Nintendo Direct. We unfortunately also have Medal of Honor servers getting shut down. And then we're also going to talk about the Flash trailer that dropped yesterday when we saw this. But if you guys saw the Super Bowl as well, they had a little trailer there too, right? So I don't really know what I want to talk about first, though. Do you want to talk about DC? Or you want to talk about Nintendo?
We should probably dive into the Nintendo Direct.
All right, we'll go over the direct. There's a lot of hype that kind of came out of this. I know that people during the direct were kind of upset.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the strongest showcase at the beginning. I mean, you had like Pikmin 4, right? Which I've been wanting to play Pikmin. I just haven't had the chance to. I know, but it's something
How
I want to
dare
get around to. But have you played Pikmin yet?
Yeah, 1, 2. Well, that's 4, right? So yeah, I don't think I played 3. At least I don't remember. But I played pretty
It
much all
always
of them.
looks cool. I'm
It's
not
hard.
against it.
Well,
But
not
yeah,
hard.
so anyways, but the Pikmin thing is just kind of like, man, I'll get around there. But a lot of people were like, oh, Pikmin, whatever, lame. But some people were kind of hyped for it. You have Xenoblade Chronicle 3. There's an expansion pack coming out on the 15th. So if you're listening to this day of as it drops,
It's today.
the expansion pass will also be there. The volume 3, I should say.
Mhm.
So there's also, they had, oh man, they have that Samba game by Sega. I don't know. That one was kind of like, oh, okay, sure. Like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like weaker showings. They had that fashion game as well. What was that called, man?
Fashion Dreams or something like that. I think that's what it's
Fashion
called.
Dream. There we
Yeah.
go. And that's coming 2023, which, of course, I think probably most people listening to this don't care for that. So, like, it was a lot of stuff like that that was kind of coming out. Like, of course, you had Dead Cells, and they announced their Castlevania crossover, but we already kind of knew about that.
Yeah.
Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective by Capcom, and it was kind of like okay. And then I did see one though. It's the Deca Police, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
That investigator one. That one looked interesting. Do you know which one I'm referring to?
Yes, I do.
This one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Anyways, it looked kind of cool. I don't know anything about it. I just saw the trailer and I thought, oh, kind of interesting. But that just means I'm probably not going to pick it up. So,
Jeez.
anyways, I do think that one looked kind of cool. Had a little bit of promise, and then I think from there on we started seeing some like interesting stuff. You're also getting that. Oh man, what's it called?
Advance Wars?
Bayonetta prequel.
Oh, yeah, that one too.
Yeah, so that's coming out March 17th. There's gonna be more Splatoon content coming out, and it's like people were kind of excited in the chat that I was seeing. It's another expansion pass coming out, but they have that Mickey Mouse game, the Illusion Island, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting
I
that
was
they
about to
decided
say,
to.
man, I kind of like
I
that
thought that
one.
was just kind of like a weird, like it looked cool. I just thought it looked kind of weird, like oh, okay, this is coming out. All right, cool. Like I'm not against it. You have the Fire Emblem stuff. There's more DLC. You have just some indie games, but the one that I was excited about though was Etrian Odyssey. Did you
Okay.
see that one?
Yeah.
So okay, so I've always been interested in the series. I never got the chance to play it because I think it's
Really?
on like 3DS.
Mhm.
So I'd have to go and buy the 3DS card. I still have my 3DS, but I'd have to go hunt it down and stuff. And I was like, oh, whatever. And then I was like, oh well, whatever. I'll get around to it eventually. And then I saw that it's coming out, and I was like, oh, I've been wanting to play this. So that's actually one that I will very most likely like pick up. That one I am very much interested in.
Okay.
I like first-person dungeon crawlers because they have another one where I believe it's a follow-up to Labyrinth of Refrain.
Mhm.
I think that one just dropped or it's about to drop, and that one I want to pick up because I do like my first-person dungeon crawlers here and there. It's something that I'll play here and there. I haven't played a lot, But I mean, most of it was like those Flash games. As a
Yeah,
kid, I can't name one, but I remember liking them.
there was a lot.
We got yeah, but Advance Wars 1+2, the reboot one, that's
Woo!
April 21st. That one I'm also excited for. That one I like a lot.
I love that game so much.
We're gonna have that one. I think is that gonna be multiplayer by any chance? Like,
I think they said maybe. I could be 100% wrong. I don't necessarily remember. No, I think they did say that it's gonna be multiplayer.
I think there's some sort of competitive thing,
Yeah.
but I think out of all of these though, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff coming out. You got like that Yoshi stuff, that Kirby stuff, some other indie games. I think the one that I'm most interested that got announced was the Metroid Prime
Okay.
game
I
being
was say.
remastered.
Yep.
That
That's kind
one,
of a shock.
was like, yeah, that one I thought was so weird. Like, I mean, people want it, right?
Yeah.
So like, but I just thought like, what now? Really? I think they saw the success of Metroid, the last one that they came out with, and they're like, okay, people are still interested in the series. And then so we're gonna like, let's do another. Let's just do a remaster. Let's see if there's still a lot of interest, and I think they're probably gonna really try to bring back Metroid, which would be very interesting. I think they should.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no complaints. I haven't had a chance to play the last one though, because I kind of want to play through the Metroid series like from the beginning and then get to the newest one. So I've only beat the original on the NES. Um, I've been playing Metroid 2,
Mm-hmm.
Return to Samus on the Game Boy, but that one I'm gonna
Nice.
need a guide. I'm like, I keep getting lost. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just kind of dumb when it comes to
Those
those
games are
ones.
like
So
not so easy. I don't know why, but
mhm.
I don't know if it's like easy now. But I remember back in the day, those things were a pain in my butt. Especially this Metroid one, the first one. I have
Yeah,
fond
because you
memories.
didn't know where anything was
Yeah,
at or whatever.
which is good, but
But yeah, everything else is kind of interesting. The Fantasy Life one, there's more courses being added to Mario Kart. There's like they showed off some indie games. They showed off Tears of the Kingdom, right? So a lot of people are excited for that. Metroid Prime though, I thought that was like such like I think everyone's talking about that. Like it was just such like a weird thing that they did, right? Like I wasn't expecting it. No one was expecting it. Once that
that's true.
happened, everyone was like, "Okay, this was a good direct," because they got Tears of the Kingdom, and Metroid Prime remastered, and so people were pretty happy with that. You can, they held that off for a while because at the beginning there, everyone was like, "This is lame. No one cares," and then everyone was like, "That was awesome." So it was pretty
Fashion,
funny.
yay!
Yeah, literally everyone in chat was like, "Wow, yes, exactly what I
I can
wanted."
dress up.
Yeah.
Woo.
So that's the direct. But they also announced that they're going to have the expansion pass. So you get Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games. So I think if you have the regular online, you get the Game Boy. If you want Game Boy Advance games, you're going to have to get the expansion.
Is,
Which,
is that a lot of money?
let's be honest, it's I think it's still pretty overpriced.
I
I
remember it
don't
was
know
like
how much it
49
is.
bucks, right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah, but that's kind of a lot though for the amount of games you're getting. I mean, you can just emulate it all for practically free. So it's
I wasn't gonna say
you know
that. Yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know.
like it's not really worth getting the expansion pass for me just
Yeah,
yet, um, unless they're bringing over some like Japan only games and they're like English translating them and throwing them on there or something. Then
yeah,
maybe,
right.
but they're most likely if they're going to go through all that effort, they're just going to remaster it and then sell it. They're not. They're just throwing their old content up on their services. So I don't know. I think it was pretty good. I wasn't gonna complain about it either way. I was like, oh, okay, it's just a regular direct, but I think this one's kind of made it like a standout one. Probably
Okay.
one of the better directs to come out for not quite some time, but I think it's kind
Well, the
of gonna
last ones
be
have
one
been
of the
about
more
the
memorable
Mario
ones.
movie.
Yeah, well, the Mario one, that one's still up in the air. Everyone's kind of up in the air with the Mario movie, but if we want to talk about up in the air,
Ooh.
let's talk about that Flash trailer. So I was kind of confused sitting here and being like, wow, they're really just going to go with it still. It's coming out June 16th, right?
Yep.
So we still got a
Mm-hmm.
ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be here like tomorrow. There's I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay.
It seems interesting. It
Uh-huh.
looks kind of exciting. They're kind of going with that Marvel kind of comedy that it's just like, please, DC, don't do this to me. Don't try to be like Marvel. I'm hoping this is the last one and they don't try to go into that Marvel direction.
Okay.
Um, it's just because it's like oh he like oh faints and like oh
Oh,
no
okay. I
it's
was like, what are you
Batman
talking
look
about?
and
But
it's like
okay, yeah.
oh my gosh dude like come on like let's
He loves Batman.
it's cringe but anyway so
Okay.
it's just like it's stuff like that where it's like all right let's this is
Uh-huh.
DC boys this is the big leagues let's just try
Yeah.
to have a little
Sadness,
class
please.
here
Darkness.
yeah where's my dark
Yeah.
depression
No fun allowed.
no but yeah like it seems cool you got Michael Keaton back you got Ben Affleck you have Ezra Miller. I don't know who was playing Supergirl. I don't know the actress's name.
Sasha
But
something?
yeah, but it looks interesting. It is a little bit different from Flashpoint, from what I understand. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I haven't seen Flashpoint. I haven't seen the comic or the animated show in like how many years? So I only remember so much.
It's
But
been a
yeah, like
while, but
there's
it seems pretty. Oh no, I'm not gonna say that. Uh, the underlining of like the animated movie is pretty good compared to like this. So it is
mhm.
loosely based on it. Like instead of Superman, it's obviously Supergirl. Um, I don't think there's.
The
Oh,
two
there was
Flash
Batman.
things.
There's Batman, but it was Thomas Wayne, right? I think. I think I
Yeah,
remember
I'm
that
not sure if
correctly.
it's like Michael Keaton's Batman, and that's the one that is in this world, or if he's because it doesn't look like
Hmm.
he's playing Thomas Wayne because he has
Yeah.
the old suit. So I don't know. It seems a little different than from when the first time it was
Yeah.
revealed to us. Of course, we know this thing has been through like a million reshoots and like a million like you know
Yeah.
re-edits and hashes and this and that. So we're gonna have to see if this is not just like a jumbled mess. Really, I mean, it's just
I don't know. James Gunn. He said it's the best superhero movie ever.
man. I mean, I don't know. I don't got much to say
Uh,
on the Flash. Just I don't know why they're waiting till June. I don't know what the heck are they doing. Like, just I don't know. I was
I
already
don't know.
saying like, just please, just put it on like HBO Max or
HBO.
something. And then it's like,
Maybe that's when his trial ends. for,
I don't know, man.
for
I mean,
everything
because
he's
I know they
done.
still want Ezra Miller back, but it's just like to me, it's like it's taken so long to get this movie because he was not doing some good stuff, and it's like we the fans are suffering because he's going around and beating people up or whatever it
He's
was.
being reverse Flash in
So
real life.
yeah, so it's like please just release the movie, you know.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
we'll see.
Are we allowed to say
Well,
we're excited
yeah,
for this movie, or are we? Does
I
that
mean
mean
it
we're?
looks interesting. I'm kind of like okay, this is kind of kind of looking good,
Mhm.
but I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because we have to wait. We have to wait.
Okay,
We have to wait.
fine.
So yeah,
I won't be
but
excited.
I yeah, no. If we get excited, it's a bigger fall for disappointment. Like honestly, if I go in there and it was bad, I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, that was to be expected. If it's
Okay,
good, I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, well, a little bit better than I
to
expected
be
to be.
expected.
If it's great, then I'm gonna be like, what the heck was this? Like, why were they hiding this? You know?
Maybe
But
that's why.
it's I don't know. It's just it's up in the air. I really don't know. Your guess
Okay.
is as good as mine. Leave a comment if you're on YouTube, man. I want to know. Is it good? Is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be bad? Is it gonna be so so? I think it's gonna be mediocre. I think it's like gonna be mediocre
Ew.
to like watchable. Like it's gonna be
Okay.
like either it's gonna be like or it's gonna like it's like well it's not the worst thing, and then or it's gonna be like okay yeah that was good
So it'll be
you
like
know
equivalent to Black Adam or less.
yeah it's probably gonna be a little less than Black Adam I think
Okay.
a
Okay.
little less or to the level of Black Adam like it's gonna be in that range where
Okay.
it's like it's gonna fit snugly I think between all the other movies that we've
Okay.
gotten. I don't think it's gonna be particularly a standout or anything. But
Okay.
man, if Flash is good though, I'm gonna be a happy man because then that means
Well,
everything's gonna be all right for DC.
no, because this is from the old company, and James Gunn has nothing to do with this, and now if this movie's good and all of a sudden we have nothing now, it's like, maybe we don't need James Gunn. Like, what if everything sucks after this? There you go.
No, I mean it's true, but I mean like because like I'm saying like if it's good, I'm be happy because then everything's gonna get tied up on a neat, everything's gonna
Oh,
like be
okay.
done in a nice neat way, and then we can just start clean and fresh.
Okay.
So I just hope it's not messy, and then we're not gonna go into the next phase and just be like, what's going on? You know, who are these people? Kind of thing, just freaking out.
Literally
But
what's
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah, I don't know. I don't wanna like sit on it too long because then it's
Mm.
just gonna be sad. But we already are sad, right? Because we got Medal of Honor multiplayer servers shutting down. I think they're shutting down the 16th. If anyone cares, right? February 16th. Uh,
Didn't even know they had him. To be honest.
I didn't know they had them up still, but it's kind of sad. I don't like it when games get shut down, unless they're bad games. But I know that some of the last Medal of Honor games just didn't really hit the same. For a lot of people, they're still got Battlefield though. EA, woo woo.
Shut that down. Oh, what?
Dice, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, they should. No, the Battlefield games are a shell of its former self.
Yeah.
And they even mentioned that like Medal of Honor and Battlefield were supposed to be like yearly releases. So like I think they would like switch off
Mhm.
but because no one wants to play Medal of Honor because well, they're not Medal of Honor games, they're Call of Duty clones. And
How
then
dare
Battlefield
you?
is like,
Is
have you seen the last Battlefield game? I mean,
the weather simulator that barely
yeah.
works. Actually, does it even work? I don't know. I don't really care though.
But yeah, so it's an unfortunate thing though, because the servers are getting shut down. But dedicated fan bases always find a way to play. People usually set up their own servers or something, and there's just like a small little scene. So maybe that's what will happen. I don't know, but yeah, Dice Battlefield, as you like to say, Fen, Consugma. So,
Sugma, then Ligma, and
oh
then
yeah.
peace out.
Anyways, yeah, that's all I got to really say on it. I don't know about you, Fen.
Now I closed the website because there's Hogwarts Legacy spoilers, but it does suck. I mean, 2010. That's 13 years. I think it lived long enough.
It lived a good life.
Yeah, I don't know. Just go play Call of Duty. Just kidding. Don't. I mean, yes, please. Especially because rank's coming out. Woo.
Oh yeah. So ranks coming out. I don't know much about that. I haven't been playing Call of Duty. I haven't been keeping up. But I think
Yeah.
that kind of covers the topics because I think that's really what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the direct. We want to talk about the Flash, and
Yep.
sadly, Medal of Honor shutting down. A
Yep.
lot of games have just been getting shut down. I'm not sure if this just means that this is like there's a wider problem happening in the
Hmm.
game industry because it's like every week it's been like, oh, we're setting this servers down, that server down. This game, we're gonna stop production on it, or sorry, stop pumping out the content. They're like no more DLC, no more this, no more that. Like Back for Blood, right? Oh, we're gonna work on a new game.
It's true.
I'm not sure if this just means that like these big AAA games, they're just not as profitable, or uh, online multiplayer, right? It's just not really profitable for these big companies anymore, keeping these servers on. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. The game's 13 years old. They're not making any money off of it. They kept it on for as long as possible,
Yep.
right? Um, I think like, but you see a lot of these companies kind of trimming the fat by shutting down servers for like older games that no one's really playing, trying to funnel everybody into like the mainline stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if this is like a dark age coming, right? Like where
That'd be kind of sad. But maybe it's needed
I
though,
mean, and
because we've been getting a lot of trash. So I
I don't
think
know. I
AAA
mean,
should
yeah, I
fall.
mean competition, yeah, AAA, like a lot of these games that are just like these sometimes they're free to play, but they're typically online multiplayer cash grabs, right?
Yep.
Live service stuff. I think it's not working out. A lot of the live service stuff, a lot of companies have been banking on that, and I think the returns are either not good or they're losing money on it, right? Like Battlefield, Halo, right? Even with the smaller companies, unfortunately, like with Knockout, right? Like live service. online multiplayer games, just either it's free to play or you pay for it. It's not enough to keep the lights on, whatever they're getting from it, right? I mean, EA loves to milk their games, right? With the whole boxes and loot crates, but since they're stopping that, they've been shutting down a lot of the greedy ways they've been trying to make money off of all these monetization tactics.
Good.
So I don't know. Like it may just be like, oh, we're not making these kind of games anymore. I'm not gonna complain if they don't make any more live service games. Hopefully, it
Hmm.
doesn't affect online multiplayer games a lot. But I mean, there's still a lot of online multiplayer games going strong, particularly like MMOs and stuff like that. So I don't think those are going anywhere. But I think we're gonna kind of start. I don't know. I think this is just the beginning of a lot of stuff that's like yet to come because I've been seeing a lot of this like servers shutting down and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think I don't know. Maybe this just means like the gaming industry might move towards a more single player focus kind of thing,
Okay.
or I mean, I don't know, but I just keep seeing it like server shutting down. But if we've been seeing like like a lot of the games that are doing well are predominantly single player focused, right? Elden Ring, right? I mean, of course, a lot of Nintendo's catalogs are
It's
single player.
Nintendo.
It's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the triple A in the triple A space, I mean, you having like indie games, of course, really punching above their weight, right? Like, I mean,
Hmm.
Vampire Survivors, right? Like, it's a $5 game and it's kicking a bunch of triple A,
Yeah, big time.
like, but like, th- I think there has to be some real like reshaping going on, right? Like, Halo got their butt kicked, right? Like,
Rightfully so.
they're basically, yeah, like it's Halo's gonna be dead in the water essentially anytime soon. Um, it's just like we're seeing a lot of this. Just is, I mean, a lot of yeah. I'm not gonna be particularly sad that some of these games are collapsing for the cash grabs that they are, but I don't know. I don't know what the next shift is gonna be. They keep trying to integrate like AI and all this stuff. Like we're seeing all these patents and everything. So I'm
There's
not
been too
sure.
many. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if like they're gonna try to integrate AI, try to see like what's going on, trying to sell some sort of service with it to go along with it. I don't know. I can't really know the future, right, when it comes to this stuff, but there's definitely a shift going on right now. Definitely a shift. I don't know about if you feel the same way, Fen.
I agree, to be honest, because I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. But Hogwarts Legacy is a single player game, and that game is quite phenomenal.
It's
Uh,
doing pretty well
it's doing,
financially.
yeah. I don't know. It's just games like Knockout and what was the other one? Rumbleverse or whatever.
Mhm.
I think they start off or they try to start off really strong so they get all the content creators and probably spend like a pretty penny on them, and then the game
Mhm.
just dies in like 2 weeks later. It's like, well, maybe
Or like that rollerblading one.
oh, what was it? Rollerblade Champs? I think that's still up, is it? Right?
That's still up, but I don't know. I don't really hear
Probably
anybody
like
like
10
talk
people
about it
play
or
it,
anything.
but it's just I don't know. I applaud them for trying to do something
I mean,
different,
those
but
ones are
different's not what we
indie.
need.
But yeah, I don't know if it's just like because I know like a lot of the like what if Epic has been kind of doing, like they've been kind of like folding those games under their wing and then like just don't do as well,
Yeah.
right? Or like they try to look for like a bigger publisher and then they really don't care about them and they don't it seems and then they just die. I don't really know what it is, but yeah, definitely there's just some weird changes going on.
Indie rise up is what we're gonna keep saying because it's
Yeah,
gonna
no,
happen.
and he's gonna have to take over because I think some of these companies are just too big and bloated now, where it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
and no one really wants to buy their stuff, like because they keep pumping out all this content. It's like no one
Hmm.
wants this, no one wants this. Like people just buy it, but I think we're gonna get to a point where like people are just gonna stop buying games. I mean, look at the retro gaming market, right? Like a lot of the stuff's artificially inflated, but there is a lot of people that are interested in this stuff,
Yeah,
and
that they
there's so
want
many
it.
more people yeah, there's so many more people that are just like, I'm gonna go play these old games. I only want to play these ones, or they only buy indie, right? Like
Yeah.
they buy from like smaller game companies. I mean, look at Dark and Darker, right? Like it's not Ubisoft or EA over
Yep.
here, right?
It's
Like
just a couple guys that love playing.
Yeah, so it's like I think AAA is really just gonna end up struggling. I think
I agree.
outside of Nintendo, right? I think AAA is gonna really struggle, right? I mean, I don't outside of the system seller single player games that we get like with Sony,
Hmm.
right? And Microsoft putting everything up on the Game Pass. I don't know if we're really going to be getting. I mean, we'll still get huge blockbuster games, but I don't think we'll be getting. I have a feeling live service is going to kind of slow down. I think they're seeing that people don't want it, people are not paying for it. It's
Hmm.
just not working. And I think Halo was really a wake up call,
Yeah.
right, for like at least Microsoft. And I think we're gonna hopefully see a shift away from it. Not that they're gonna go away entirely. People, game companies are gonna keep trying to, you know, revive it as much as they can because
Yeah,
it is
but
a cash cow. But
yeah.
yeah, I think hopefully we go back. I really want couch co-op to kind of come back. Actually, that's what I'm
I
hoping
don't think
for.
that'll ever come back. I mean, it'll come back, but it's like never gonna be how it used to be because nobody likes to socialize anymore. Everybody wants to be at home and play with them online, but they don't want to see them in person.
Yeah, like, cause like
So,
something that I've noticed is like because well, you come over, like my friends come over, and I'm
mhm.
like, there's not a lot of couch co-op.
Yeah, like what can we
Like,
play?
and
Right?
that's kind of upsetting. But like, there was like, oh man, what's it called? It Takes Two, or whatever,
Yeah,
right? And that was couch co-op, and everyone loved it because everyone's like, finally a couch co-op game.
that's
So it's
true.
like I think we just need quality, quality couch co-op games, right? That's something that I kind of want to focus on, like in games that I want to make. Is like I kind of want to bring that feeling back of just couch co-op, man. Like it's fun. Like you're just sitting there playing games together.
Yeah.
You're just eating
Well, that's why
chips or
that's
whatever,
why
and
fighting games are popular, right? Because you can like go to
yeah.
your buddy's house and be like, all right, let's just play for 5 hours and hate each
And
other
That's all.
and
That's all.
yeah,
That's all we can play is fighting
yeah.
games. 'Cause
So
that's the only thing that's. I mean, like Halo doesn't really have local
it
multiplayer
doesn't. And
anymore,
you can't
right?
even do
Like,
that in Call of Duty, and that's
yeah,
where
Call of Duty. You can't go into a private match, split
yeah.
screen. They don't do that anymore. And I was like, there's so many hours of, like, it's kind of lame. I think certain like they don't want to put the time in to put
Yeah,
these kind of more niche things in,
exactly.
but they're only niche because they took them out, and then only like a certain amount of people are like really like asking for it. But I
Hmm.
don't know, man. It's just like sitting there. It's like I think we need couch co-op back, local multiplayer kind of stuff back. Like
Well, Indy's
I
gonna
think
be the
like
one to
these.
do it, right?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be indie to pick up the slack because, like, even in the Nintendo Direct, everyone's like, "Oh, where's Hollow Knight?" Was it Silk Song? Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's all
Hmm.
everyone cared for. Like, where is it? I want to see it. I don't care. What is this? Give me, get rid of that trash from
Yeah.
Capcom. I want to see this, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't know. It's just interesting how now you have indie games where everyone's like, "Okay, yeah, but where's this game from this indie company?" Right?
Hmm.
And so it's like I think there's like I said, there's definitely going to be a shift. Um, and I don't know.
Complete
We'll
like
see.
random question about indie. So let's say okay, people from Blizzard, right? So that's a
Mhm.
AAA. So if some people leave Blizzard and then make their own company, is that technically indie or is that still
It would still be indie. AAA is typically referring to like the size of the company or budget, right?
okay?
Like if I was to start a game company and I've been in the game industry for like 20 plus years, but I
Uh,
only have like $10 to my name, I can't make Call of Duty, right? Like that like even though I have the skills to work on a
uh,
AAA game, right? Like,
okay,
but
okay, okay. I'm just curious.
AAA is usually just the big blockbuster games that you
Okay.
see, but
Well,
there's
because
it
I'm
just
just saying
typically
that
refers to like.
because indie is kind of taking that rise, and then people are leaving like the AAA companies and making their own thing because they still have like that
Oh yeah,
passion for games.
definitely.
So it's like people
Hmm.
are more excited about them leaving and making their own game than like you said like AAA. So it's
Oh
like
yeah, I mean all the time, right? Like, apparently, and there's some like, oh man, was it? They helped. They were part of the team that made the original Castlevania games, right? Like Symphony of
mhm,
the Night, and on the NES ones.
mhm.
Uh, and they kind of broke off, make their own thing. I think it was like, oh man, is it Bloodstain or whatever it is that they
Bloodstain.
did? Oh, I can't remember it. But they broke off. They did their own thing, and they made their
Mhm,
own Castlevania style games, right? Like
mhm.
it's just it's a lot of these companies, like you see them where it's like, oh, they leave Microsoft or something, and they're like, oh, they start their own thing. They start their own indie studios all the time,
Hmm.
right? And it's just like we, as the players, have to start throwing our money at these indie developers instead of like buying these big AAA titles. I think if we really start refusing to be like, no, this title sucks. I'm sorry. We're gonna go with these guys over here. Yeah, like these AAA companies will be forced to reallocate their resources away from all the cash grabbing and making
Right.
good quality stuff again. But I don't know. We'll have to see because there is money in indie.
Hmm.
It is just so difficult to find good indie games and to give it a platform where it can actually grow and get a lot of recognition. Especially because there's so many Kickstarters that come out, right? Like, oh man, what was that game? The day before or whatever it is, that one that was
Oh,
supposed to come out recently.
the zombie one or the
Yeah, the zombie
post-apocalyptic
one.
one? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then they showed it off and everyone's all excited. And then it's like up on Steam's like it's like everyone's like waiting for it and they drop the trailer and it's just like what is
Focus on the
this?
girl's
Like
butt.
it's like assets, like it's just like recycled assets, and like you just downloaded them from the internet, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, like there's nothing to show, right? So it's like unfortunately, there's always gonna be those, right?
Yikes.
But we just have to be like, as a community, just be more involved and like be like, okay, these games are legit, these games are not. Don't look at those ones. Let's try to like. Of course, there's still always gonna be some that like slip through the cracks, but I think if we really like if developers really sit there and create goodwill within the community, right? Like people are going to trust them and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we know like you're going to give us a product and not run away with our money, which I think is indie's best chance at like really grabbing people is like why go with them when you can come with us and be part of our community, right? Like
Okay.
that's been a lot of like indie games like bread and butter is like they create a Discord and they talk to people on social media, and it's a double-edged sword, right? Because you get a lot of haters sometimes and they're screaming and yelling at them, and I the thing is you can't talk to those people and be like, hey, you shouldn't do that, because they're still gonna do it. So it's like if I'm gonna convince somebody not to do that, they weren't gonna do that in the first place, if that makes sense, right? Like to be
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
hey, don't treat the developers like trash, right? Like people who are gonna actually take that like information and be like, oh yeah, that's true. They're not the ones doing that. So
Yeah.
I don't know how we can kind of like weed that part out of the toxic
Yeah, it's impossible.
gaming community, because I think like those people are ruining everyone's experience, unfortunately. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, because you have people who are just like, I like games. Games are cool. Yeah, like me and you talk a lot of smack on games, right? Like,
Yeah.
but as we always reiterate, like, don't go around like with pitchforks and torches, like for the developers, right? Like, they're just people. I don't like the games, but I'm not like, oh, tweeting at them, all these
Yeah, you
horrendous
suck.
things.
You should be
Yeah,
homeless.
and it's like, I never see it like kind of worth the energy to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I think definitely it's like about cultivating that culture, so that indie game developers can not be afraid to put out a product as
Yeah.
well
Mm-hmm.
that is experimental and weird and pushes games forward in general. Because that's the hard part. It's like you come up with something good and then people are expecting this and then they get disappointed and then they leave and they get mad.
Yep.
And then so it's like I think it's gonna be tough, but like to kind of like at least when it comes to indie, be a little bit more forgiving and being like, okay, yeah, that didn't work out, but it's okay. Like I think sometimes
Constructive
we get everyone
criticism.
gets yeah, like everyone gets too hyped up, like because it's the internet. So like when a game comes out and they drop it, everyone's trying to be like, no, this game's the worst thing ever to ever existed in the history of ever,
Yeah.
right? Because it creates a like it's good clickbait, right?
Yeah.
And then so to be like this game stinks and like yeah, it's like it's fine if like you over exaggerate a little bit, but like when everyone's just being so dramatic about everything, then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it kind of unfortunately does hurt the developers more than helps them,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the end of the day. And so I don't know. I think as long as we have like a cultural shift within games, less toxic, more constructive, we focus on helping indie, I think gaming will be fine. And
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot of these AAA studios will be forced to kind of like reinvent themselves.
Yep.
But
I agree.
it's it's up to us really. Like, I mean, just to
Gamers
stop
rise
buying
up.
their games. Yeah, gamers rise up. Yeah, sure.
Well, Yeah, not toxic, but rise up
In a
gracefully.
healthy, respectful manner. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, wait, gamers rise up is usually pitchforks and stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So no pitchforks, just
yeah,
teddy bears and hugs, I guess. But
sure.
I think that
Okay,
kind of wraps up today's episode.
that's
You
right.
know, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to discuss, right? If you want to hang out with us more, we are live on twitch.tv/past the pop culture. We're live Tuesdays, Thursday, Friday. Sorry, new schedule, so I had to rethink that. And same time, of course, 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're a little late because we're running over the time for this episode. But yes, we're always live. And we've been playing Dark and Darker, and we quite enjoy that game. You get to see us be frustrated. So if you want to come in and talk to us though about Nintendo Direct, we've always loved to talk about games and game music, game anything. We're big nerds, so we'll love to talk about it with you guys. And drop a comment if you're on YouTube. Let us know what you think. Do you disagree that the gaming industry is going to change, or you disagree with my ideas and my plan on how we can try to make a better community? I'm always willing to hear everyone out. And of course, if you're whatever podcast listening platform that you prefer, thumbs up, 5-star it, however it works, drop a good review. Very much appreciate the support. Check out our social medias at Past the Pop Culture on everything.
Yep.
I guess Hover pooped itself, so we're not on there anymore. So I don't know. We may try to join another platform or two. But yes, I think that ends today's episode. So thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.